The HAWKER Seahawk was a single-seat day fighter developed for the British Fleet Air Arm. It might be a surprise that such an elegant aircraft originated in the Griffon-powered prototype of the Fury, one of the least elegant aircraft of the late war. In 1944, designers wondered how they could fit a jet engine into this airframe. By removing the piston engine, placing a jet in the middle with inlets in the wing roots, moving the cockpit forward and adding a stretch overall, they came up with the P1035, powered by a single Rolls-Royce Nene engine. In a further development, they gave the engine a split exhaust exiting just behind a trailing edge wing root, new straight tapered wings, a nose wheel and a raised tailplane. Thus was born the HAWKER P1040, essentially the prototype for the Seahawk that was to come. This prototype flew in September 1947, followed by a naval prototype with folding wings the following year. The aircraft was ordered into production in November 1949, with a new assembly line at the Armstrong Whitworth factory in Coventry, joining that of the HAWKER factory at Kingston. The Seahawk F1 entered service with 806 Naval Air Squadron at RNAS Brawdy in 1953 and then embarked on HMS Eagle. Initially, the Seahawk was equipped with 420mm cannon. Later, the FB3 version brought the ability to carry bombs and rockets as well, an ability refined in the FB4 version. Later engine upgrades led to the converted FB5 and new-build FGA6 versions for the Seahawk. The start-up of the engine, using a cartridge system, was always pretty spectacular. The Seahawk saw extensive service during the Suez Crisis of 1956. 6 Seahawk squadrons on the carriers HMS Eagle, HMS Albion and HMS Bulwark carried out strike missions alongside Westland Wyvern attack aircraft with fighter cover from de Havilland Sea Venoms. Seahawks were also exported. The Royal Netherlands Navy used them on their carrier Karel Doorman. The Indian Navy used them on their carrier Vikrant, and Germany's Bundesmarine flew them from shore bases. Seahawks began being retired from the Fleet Air Arm in 1958, being replaced by aircraft such as the Supermarine Scimitar and the de Havilland Sea Vixen, leaving the front line entirely by 1960. Over 30 Seahawk aircraft remain in museums around the world. One FGA-6 aircraft, serial Whiskey Victor 908, was airworthy until grounded in 2010. However, after a period in storage, there are now plans to return it to full airworthiness. It is reasonably easy to get decent kits off the Seahawk. In 1/48 scale, there was a Falcon kit in the 1990s, then Classic Airframes made a new tooling in 2004, following it soon after with the German export version, which has a slightly larger tail and rudder. Likewise, Trumpeter released a 1/48 tooling in 2007, followed by the German export version in the same year. In 1/72 scale, the Frog kit of 1954 continues to be available through multiple reboxings and by distribution through the usual suspects: Novo in 1978, Donetsk Toy Factory in the 1980s, Eastern Express in 2000 and Chematic in 2008. Airfix made their own tooling in 1957. This has been re-released from time to time ever since, most recently as a gift set in 2010. If you've made one, I think you'll agree it's well overdue that this one should now be called a vintage classic. A more modern tooling from MPM was released in 2001, with the export version in 2002. This mould was taken up by Special Hobby with the addition of a new cockpit part in 2004, and again with a German export version arriving later in 2008. The most recent tooling in this scale was by Hobby Boss in 2010, with the export version in 2011. And finally, the Seahawk was made available from mini wings in 1/144th scale as a resin kit from 2012, but just in 2022 they reintroduced the type as a 2-for-1 polystyrene set, either of the UK or export versions.